Hello, and good afternoon, my friend. Today I'm going to show you all the bosses of the 6th chapter of Black Myth Wukong. We'll also talk about the tactics of fighting each one individually, and I'll give you some useful tips on how to defeat each of them. So, here we go. First boss, Supreme Inspector. Most people call this boss difficult. To be honest, I don't see any reason for that. Of course, the boss is not easy, but he is not too difficult either. You already have everything you need. The plantain fan artifact is important for this battle. You can win the battle without it, but it will be more difficult. If the first encounter with the boss was for acquaintance, now you're in for a full-on battle. One of the difficulties is that the boss is quite mobile. He often flies into the air and attacks you from there. But at the same time, all the animations of his movements are easily predictable. He has no hidden attacks or anything that should surprise you. Use your entire arsenal for the battle, except for a pluck of many. An army of monkeys will be ineffective in this battle. To win, you need to dodge a lot and wait for your attack. I don't think that when you get to Chapter 6, it causes you problems. When the Supreme Inspector is on the ground, use Immobilize. Unlike many other bosses, this one does not know how to counteract this skill. When the boss reaches 50% health, he will start riding a wheel around the arena and throwing it at you. What should you do? That's right, dodge. When the boss reaches 30% health, a cutscene will start, after which your battlefield will be limited to a circle of fire. You can defeat the boss in it, but for freedom of action, use Plantain Fan and it will extinguish this fire circle. The battle can be continued as usual. Since the battle may be delayed, use the transformation at the beginning of the battle. I advise you to use Red Tides, as always. Also, at the beginning of the battle, activate the Spirit. In my case, it is Wandering White. The Cloud Step skill will also be useful. After defeating the boss, you will be able to fly on a small cloud across the map of the 6th chapter. This makes it significantly different from the other chapters. So I'm going to show you a map of this area. It's marked with boss locations. I think this will be useful for you. Second boss, Cloudtreading Deer. The battle with this boss is not so much difficult as long. The battle is divided into 2 phases. Each phase has its own separate enemy health scale. In any case, you'll need several attempts to see how to attack this boss correctly. In the first phase, the danger is posed by tornadoes that chase you and deal damage. In addition, the boss himself jumps up and deals a lot of damage in one hit. His attacks are not so frequent, but they are really very significant in terms of damage. Try to dodge as correctly and timely as possible. If you miss a hit, don't wait for the next one. Replenish your health. You need to have your health bar at a high level at all times. If you use spells, it's better to save them for the second phase. It's a little more complicated. In general, your entire arsenal of spells will be useful, except for a pluck of many. In my case, I was a little annoyed by the long battle time in the first phase, so I tried to shorten the battle by dealing a lot of damage. I activated Spellbinder. As for me, this build is the most effective against this boss. You need to run a lot. At this time you can recharge your focus, especially if you're wearing Pilgrim Set. In the second phase, the boss attacks you with blood attacks. His blood poisons you. Be careful and try not to fall into his blood traps. If the poisoning is annoying and takes a lot of health, use a potion that removes all poisonous effects. A strong punch makes the opponent fall to the ground. This is the time when you can do a lot of damage to the opponent. Use it. Third boss, Gold Armored Rhino. A must-have storyline boss that you can't miss. You are facing an armored rhinoceros. The boss has very strong armor and a large supply of health. Of course, all the enemy's power is hidden in its single horn. You need to break it in order to have a short time to inflict the most effective damage. You can only break the horn with a powerful charged attack. In my case, I used my favorite build, Spellbinder. Therefore, other skills were not available to me. To test it, I tried to fight the boss in a normal build. The horn also breaks the spirit of Wandering White, but the problem is that it recovers rather slowly. You can use it once or twice per battle. In other cases, you need to charge focus, then use Immobilize, approach the boss clearly from the front, and perform a charged powerful attack. Since I was using Spellbinder and Pilgrim set, I would charge a powerful attack away from the boss, and then try to run up to it and hit it by breaking the horn. It didn't always work out. In this battle, your partner, the Boar Ju Baji, will help you. He will sometimes replenish your health, but his main benefit is that he will distract the boss, and you will have time to recharge your focus without any problems. To make the fight easier, maximize Shudog's shock defense. I also found out that the boss has a weakness to fire attacks. Therefore, if you use Red Tides, this transformation will deal quite a bit of damage to the boss. When the boss switches to you, you have to dodge. In most cases, the rhinoceros attacks from a distance. It runs towards you from a long distance and attacks you with its horn. You need to dodge a moment before the rhino is near you. Then the enemy will turn around and attack you again from a distance. Sometimes he attacks with lightning across the area. Dodge continuously at this time. In general, you need to guess the right charge trick, choose the right position, and break the horn. At this time, you do maximum damage. Then you have to repeat the procedure until you win. Fourth boss, Feng-Tail General. This boss is very different from all your other battles. It's not going to be your usual fight. In this competition, you just need to have a certain amount of mana. To start, you need to land on top of the boss. You can't jump on him from the ground. Just fly up to the boss on a cloud and jump on his back. You will have 2 phases in the competition. To start the competition, go to the boss's head and click on Interaction. The boss will start crawling. It's a giant locust. You need to stay on his head while he jumps. To do this, hold down 1 key. During this, your stamina will constantly decrease. To fight, you need to maximize it. The best way to do this is to use Shudog and distribute the sparks in such a way that you have the maximum amount of stamina. In the second phase, you need to have a lot of fire defense. Again, distribute your fire defense skills in Shudog. Before starting the test, activate Fireproof Mantle and start the test immediately. It is quite short, and Fireproof Mantle's effect is enough to end the challenge as a winner even without any health loss. Fifth boss, Emerald Armed Mantis. It's a rather difficult boss. I couldn't beat it with Spellbinder activated. Only the full arsenal of my character's skills allowed me to win. At the beginning of the fight, use Immobilize, then you need to dodge and deal damage. Yes, you do this with every boss, but it's not that simple. The boss is very fast, and his attacks sometimes develop so rapidly that I didn't have time to dodge. That's why I really needed the Cloud Step skill in this battle. You activate this skill, accumulate the full focus scale, and hit with a powerful blow. While the enemy is recovering, you deal some more damage with quick attacks. When the boss reaches 60%, he will enter the second phase. His health bar will not be updated, but the boss will become more aggressive and fast. In this phase, I recommend using a Pluck of Many while the boss is busy. Your army will distract the boss a bit, but he will still attack you. Use all your active skills if they are available. Red Tide's transformation will be very effective at this time. The boss doesn't have much health, so you should be able to defeat him after all these actions. Sixth boss, Son of Stones. It's not a mandatory boss, but you can't just skip it. The battle itself is pretty simple. At the beginning, the boss is sitting on the edge of a cliff and doesn't pay attention to you. You attack him and dodge his hands, which he uses to push you away like an annoying insect. The rest is easy. The boss is very clumsy. The only threat from him is a large area lightning attack. In this case, use any transformation to survive this attack, or just move away for a long enough distance. After this attack, the boss will fall down exhausted. Be prepared to deal maximum damage at this time. In general, a pluck of many and Cloud Step will be effective for the battle. The army of your clones will attack the boss, dealing a lot of damage. Cloud Step will allow you to charge your focus to full power in invisible mode and deliver a strong blow. Seventh boss, Waterwood Beast. Another simple boss that won't be a problem for you. This big behemoth is clumsy. Its attacks are easy to dodge. After a strong attack, the boss falls on its side. At this time, you can add light attacks for damage. As soon as the boss starts to get up, use the Wandering White Spirit. It will put the boss on its side again and add more damage. In general, after these actions, the boss will have about half his health. Just dodge and attack. When the boss is underwater, run constantly because he will suddenly emerge with an attack on you. When you have a powerful attack planned, use it right away. I think this fight will be quick. Eighth boss, Lang-Baw-Baw. Here's another frog on your way. How many of them have already been? There are in every chapter, but this frog is special. It is the last and most powerful. The enemy has many new attacks. One of the most unpleasant is the ability to cover himself with iron armor, which makes the boss almost invulnerable. Use Plantain Fan to knock down the effect of this armor. It's also interesting that in the arena where the boss fight takes place, many simple mobs will appear, who will also attack the frog with you. However, if your attacks damage one of them, that mob will start attacking you. This is not to say that these helpers, if you can call them that, will do a lot of damage to the boss. Perhaps it makes sense to focus on destroying them before the boss. Very rarely do they divert the boss's attention to themselves. In general, they are more of a nuisance, although they can be killed after the boss. The frog moves a lot, uses its entire arsenal of attacks. You have to run a lot and dodge a lot. Sometimes the boss's attacks are continuous, but you can't stop dodging them. Because the frog deals quite a lot of damage, its attacks are powerful. You will need Cloud Step in this battle to be able to catch your breath, regain health, and charge a powerful attack. Light attacks are almost ineffective. In addition, you won't be able to do them for a long time without taking damage. Therefore, I advise you to charge and attack the frog with powerful attacks. The battle may take a long time because you have to dodge a lot, but does that scare us in Chapter 6? Of course not. Ninth boss, Poison Chief. In total, there are 4 identical bosses in Chapter 6, all named Poison Chief. They are absolutely identical and do not differ from each other in any way, so I don't see the point of including them individually in this video. One will be enough. You can see the location of the bosses on the map I showed at the beginning of the video. As for the boss himself, he throws poison balls. If this is a problem for you, use potions to remove the poisonous effects. 10th boss, Jiao-Loong of Waves. At this stage of the game, the boss is nothing difficult. It's just an ordinary mannequin that you'll pass and not notice. Only the boss reward is interesting, and that's only for collectors and those who want to close all the achievements in the game. Summon a pluck of many before the battle. Together you will destroy the enemy very quickly. If the boss manages to hide under the water during the battle, dodge without interruption, as he will attack with his tail. In general, the battle is no more difficult than with a regular boosted mod. 11th boss, Giant Shigandang. It's an interesting boss. In general, he is impressive in size. You need to prepare for the battle. This is a battle in which you 100% need to use Spellbinder. All your other skills and spells will be useless in this battle. All you can do is perform normal physical attacks and charged powerful attacks. Therefore, you should make sure that the power of these attacks is maximized. At the beginning of the battle, run towards the boss, but as soon as he starts moving, jump back. The boss will start attacking with its massive arms, sweeping away everything in its path. Your task is to wait in the distance until the boss hits the ground with his hands and freezes. Be careful. The boss will hit the ground with his hands several times and launch waves at you along the ground. You can dodge them by jumping or by climbing up on a shelf. Sometimes the boss pulls in the air around him and you're pulled towards him, but it's very easy to overcome this gravity. In general, as soon as the boss freezes, you need to run as fast as possible to him. To do this, put on the Pilgrim set, it increases your speed. Near the boss's hands, you will see blue crystals on his body. Your task is to deal damage to these crystals. As soon as the boss starts moving, you run back and wait for the right moment. Be careful at the end of the fight. When you defeat him, he will launch several more waves on the ground, which will deal a lot of damage and can kill you if you do not dodge them. After defeating him, you need to climb up the boss's body to complete the quest. Twelfth boss, Erlang, the Sacred Divinity. Possibly the most difficult boss in the game. In order to defeat him, you need to be prepared. I have a detailed video on my channel on how to prepare and how to fight this boss, so that you don't have any problems. You should now see the link in the upper right corner. I'll also leave a link to this useful video guide in the video description. In short, the battle takes place in 3 phases with 1 enemy health bar. The main feature is the boss armor. Above the health bar, there is another bar that shows his armor. So, after it is destroyed, it will be restored again after a while. In order to effectively destroy the armor, you need to use the plantain fan. How to make this artifact regenerate as often as shown in my video. Watch a separate video. Realistically, you just can't fit everything you need here. Also, you can see in the video that after immobilize, I use staff spin. It does a little damage for each strike, but there is a very high speed of strikes, and therefore the total damage is really noticeable. Why spin, you may ask? Because a normal attack ends with a strong blow that removes the effect of the immobilize skill from the boss. After watching my video on the tactics of fighting this boss, you won't have any problems with him. It's really very simple. I'm sure that anyone can easily deal with this boss after studying my recommendations.
Well, you can't disturb your mind. Your destiny, what you None ever dared to turn the world upside down.
13th boss, the Four Heavenly Kings. After defeating Erlang, the sacred divinity, your character will turn into a stone monkey. Then you will face 2 separate battles. The first battle is with 4 Heavenly Kings. This battle will be a long one. There are 4 enemies. But don't worry, in general, the battle is very simple. Not even very simple, but as simple as possible. The main task of this battle is for you to get used to the body of a new character and learn how to use his skills. So it's more of a learning process than a battle. What you need to know: you can dodge, though not as much as you did before. The keyboard shortcuts are the same. You can just attack with regular fist punches. These attacks charge your focus. You can also use the rock solid skill. I think it's also clear how it works. Before you get hit by an enemy, you activate the skill and your character freezes like a stone. In this position, you cannot take damage from the enemy. On the contrary, a successful use of the skill gives you +1 focus point. Holding down the right mouse button activates a heavy attack. This heavy attack not only deals serious damage to the enemy, but also restores your health. The more charged up your focus is before you use the heavy attack, the more health you will regain. In this battle, you need to learn how to use all of this, because you will need it in the next battle. So practice, and don't worry if you lose. You don't have to do the previous battle again. You can forget about it. Only forward, only new achievements. Shen. This is not a difficult battle, but it is actually the longest battle in the entire game. Most likely, you will even have to lose once before you understand how to fight this battle correctly. The battle takes place in transformations. Your character turns into a stone monkey, and Erlang turns into a very nasty lion. The battle pattern is almost the same as the previous one, with 4 kings. There are some complications. When your opponent has about 70% of his health left, he will pick up a strong weapon. His fire sword deals a lot of damage. You need to dodge, recharge your focus, and replenish your health with a strong attack. Whenever your skill on button 1, called Ice Bath, is available, use it. This skill significantly increases the damage of your fists. It is also important to know that the first half of the battle lasts much longer. Your task is to hold out until the boss has about 50% health. You'll see a cutscene where your enemy takes all your health with flames from his mouth, but then the stone monkey will restore it and get his hands charged with firepower. After that, your attacks will become much more powerful, and you will quickly end this battle.
Mantis! Our battles always wear down my edge. This one should suit you well.
15th boss, Stone Monkey. Now you need to defeat Stone Monkey. You're competing against the same character you were recently. Let's see what awaits you in this battle and how to win. The battle is quite long. It depends on the fact that there are moments when the enemy attacks a lot and for a very long time. At this point, you can only dodge. By focusing on dodging at this point, you can survive. The good news is that the boss gives you long pauses if you are at a far distance from him. Therefore, in any unclear situation, try to jump away from the enemy. When he attacks with continuous blows to the ground near him, run away. If he attacks with punches on the ground, which causes waves to appear, run away. It's easier to jump over them from a distance. If the boss attacks by freezing the surface of the water, run away from the frozen water. When the freeze is on a large perimeter, you can run to the boss, there is a safe zone there, and you can also deal damage to the boss at this time. The battle will have 2 phases. Each phase has its own health scale. In the first phase, the boss is less aggressive, and his attacks are not as complex. You need to fight in such a way as to save most of your mana for the second phase. Use the Plantain Fan. This artifact doesn't allow the boss to do anything, but you can continuously attack him at this time. Especially after the fight with Erlang, the sacred divinity, you know how to make this artifact recover very quickly. If you don't know, watch the video at the link in the comments. In the second phase, when the boss reaches 50% health, he will summon his duplicate. That means you'll have to take turns fighting 2 stone monkeys. It seems difficult, but it's not. They don't attack at the same time. But it's possible that the first monkey has finished its activity and you immediately switch to the second monkey. In this interval, there may be an overlap and a very fast attack. First, the final attack of the first monkey, then the initial attack of the second monkey. What advice can I give you here? At this stage of the game, you should already be able to do everything your character is capable of. Run, dodge, and charge your focus, especially since you have access to the Sun Yukon stance when using a full set of 5 things. Make the most of Cloud Step. Immobilize is almost useless in this battle. It is better to replace it with Ring of Fire. In total, you will need a dozen attempts, after which you will get used to all the boss attacks and defeat him. Rest, watch the cutscene, and move on to the next final battle in this game. 16th boss, the Great Sage's Broken Shell. The last battle. In this battle, you won't need Immobilize either. Replace it with Ring of Fire right away. The battle will take place in 2 phases. Each phase has its own separate health scale for the enemy. In the first phase, the boss behaves rather passively if you are far away from him. It makes absolutely no sense to engage in an active battle with him, because you will take a lot of damage and spend a certain amount of mana anyway. I advise you to charge your focus at a remote distance, and then run up to the enemy and hit him with a powerful blow. Immediately after the hit is over, try to jump back as quickly as possible to a great distance from the enemy so that he does not attack you. Sometimes the boss will throw his staff at you, but you are far away. It's not a problem. And half of the time, your powerful attack will be dodged by the boss. Don't worry about it and keep doing what you're doing. Even if he dodges, a little damage will still be dealt. Run away, charge a powerful focus, and attack with a powerful punch. Using this tactic, you will finish the first phase with a full mana bar, and you will also have a full health jar. In the second phase, this trick will not work. Here you will have to fight. However, sometimes the boss will give you pauses to charge the trick from a distance and hit him with a powerful blow. Use it. Plantain Fan will be very useful in this phase. When this artifact is active, the boss cannot do anything. Attack him at this point with light attacks to deal maximum damage. During the battle, there will definitely be a cutscene in which the boss will use Immobilize on you, just when you are trying to drink from your jar. It's an interesting moment. There's nothing problematic here, just look at how beautifully it's done. After the cutscene, the battle will continue. Well, my friend, I hope my recommendations will help you. And if you found something useful, please subscribe to my channel and like this video. If you have any questions or additions, feel free to leave a comment. We will discuss everything related to the bosses of the 6th chapter of Black Myth Wukong there.